Hello, everyone, and welcome to my page, Messages from Venus. Today, I would like to do a video about finding the purpose in our lives with a card that has been coming out a lot during the daily readings. And I will show you guys the card. Let's see if I can find it now. The card is from my Soul's Journey 1 deck. And I haven't done a review on this deck yet because I got it not so long ago. But that card just started speaking to me. And I hope to all of you also about finding our purpose and through finding our purpose and before finding our purpose, tapping into our DNA, learning about our bodies so that our purpose can be, here it is, this is the card, can be more obvious to us. So like I said, the card has been coming up a lot during the daily focuses readings that I've been doing, and I'm going to hold it up for the entire conversation so that you guys can get maybe possibly your own feel about the card and what the card signifies to you as I speak to you guys about your purpose. Now, water. My voice has been so off. But finding my purpose to me, for me, has been such an incredible, hurtful, happy, negative, positive, a whirlwind of a journey to be able to find my purpose. All the while, my purpose was there in front of me the entire time. Since I was a small child, it was just there, staring at me in the face, and I couldn't find it. Not because I was what I like to call asleep. I wasn't asleep. My DNA wasn't asleep. I was always aware of the spirit world. And it wasn't because of that. It was just because I feel like there's certain things in life that before you ascend, you make sure that your soul finds out about that purpose, or finds your purpose through certain experiences. It's just you choose what those experiences are. And I don't know if some of you guys have listened to my video about my story and a little bit about myself. So in that video, I disclosed me having experiences as a child with the supernatural and remembering certain things that perhaps many of us have experienced, but either forgot or just refused to speak about it because it's just not the quote-unquote normal. And I would like to say, just fuck the normal, because the normal isn't normal at all. It's not. Being perfect is not normal. Being absolutely perfect or attempting to be perfect in some way, shape, or form is not normal. That to me is more of an insecurity, and you're more of like a blob that jiggles the same way everybody else does, that jiggles the same all other blobs do. That's why you have a purpose, and every individual in this life has a purpose, perhaps in the same frequency, maybe in the same levels of frequency, such as love, hate, betrayal. Maybe your purpose is just to be to cause somebody else pain in their life, so that they then can find themselves and at the same time find their purpose. Maybe we all have that in different frequencies, but we don't get there the same way. We don't all jiggle the same way. And if that's what you're trying to do, continue to listen to my video, because I'm would like to give you a different perspective of how you can find your purpose uh, through my experience. And then maybe we can connect. Maybe it's not, maybe what you're going through in your life right now is not so difficult. Now, I didn't prepare anything for this because I wanted to be as natural as possible, because this video will be very important for people that are in their early teens, in their childhood years, or for people who are having the feeling like they're about to either pass away, or the elderly. Now, with that being said, I'm not trying to discriminate anybody or put, some type of timeline or some type of an illusion of time of when people are supposed to find, or quote unquote are supposed to find their purpose. I feel that if you find your purpose anywhere during this lifetime or during this life, and find your purpose for this life during this life, then that's perfectly fine. If not, then I am a strong believer that you just come back and just repeat the certain things in your life or certain experiences so that you can find that purpose. And then with that, move on to another realm or another frequency or another chapter in your existence, in your consciousness. So I want to get that out the way because I don't want to offend anybody. And if I do, I apologize beforehand. So usually in the human experience, when we are, let's say, I don't know, before we hit 30, we're expected to be here, there, and everywhere before we hit the age of 30, have kids, be married, and society tells you that that's the way things have to be, that's the way things have to go, and it's always a must, because then if you don't accomplish certain things during certain times of your lifetime, then you're like a loser or an outcast, and that's not okay. That's something that society, I hope one day can fix. Actually, not that I hope, I know that one day they will be able to fix that, because things cannot continue the way they are. And society can't continue the way we are, because we're always evolving and things are always changing. And even in the worst moments of our lives, things are always changing for the greater good. But back to, the expectations of society. We're expected to, whether you know it unconsciously or consciously, we're expected to that by certain ages, we're supposed to know something. We're supposed to be aware of certain things. Like, for example, when I was a kid, a lot of people would think of me as, oh, that's just strange that this child knows so much, or that she can have an adult-like conversation. And I don't know what it is, how it is for other cultures or for other people, but in Dominican culture, most of the time, the kids are like adults. We're like adults. Like we're expected to know like the role of a woman, the role of a man, the role of a lot of things, and we're made aware of that at a very young age. And some of us speak like little adults. I don't know if it's just maybe things that happen during everybody's childhood, but like I said, this is my experience and I'm talking from my perspective. And that's just how it is. Like, we know the roles in the household, or we're expected to know. We're expected to know, what your role is going to be, and we're taught, especially as a woman, we're taught, you have to, no matter whether you have a career, whether you're going here or there, you must always be a woman of your household. A woman's house can never be unclean, and a woman's house can never be, looked down at. Not to say that Dominicans are the most clean people in the world, but again, it's from my perspective. My mom had an education. She worked full time. She worked babysitting. She worked doing a lot of things and did a lot of things during her lifetime. Um, but she always kept her home was first. Number one, it was God. God, she had to be okay with God, or her perspective of God, and then it was her family, and then it was everybody else. It's just her house had to be to the T, to the point. Like, people that come to my mom's house, they don't ever, hardly ever see anything that isn't picked up. Like, even when there is a mess, it's like an organized mess. Like, people don't see that when they come to my house. But um it brings me to the topic of like what people are expected to do at a certain time of their lives. And finding your purpose is one of those things that, whether you're a man or a woman or a child, you're expected to do unconsciously by the time you're 18. Why? Because by the time you're 18, you're now legal. You are now an individual. You are now an individual in society that is expected to know how to take care of themselves, how to fill out forms, have your own social security, have a job, pay bills, responsibilities. And with all of that, so unconsciously, you must know your purpose, because by that time, you're applying for college, and you're applying for college to get into a school, not only just to get into a school and make people proud, including yourself, but you're also going to college to do a purpose, to be meaningful, to have a title in society so that you can be accepted in society. It is the same thing as finding your purpose in the spiritual. It's finding your spirit, your spirit's, or your authentic self's purpose. Um, if you're going to college, for example, I'll give you an example. If you guys are going to college to become social workers, because when I first started my college career, I wanted to be a social worker like my mother. And I'm like, you know what, I know I have to help people in some way, shape, or form. And being a social worker was at that time my perspective of the best way that I can help people that are looked down on, people that are in communities that aren't the best or the ideal communities for themselves or their children and the generations thereafter. Um, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna find my purpose here. So I did my first 2 years. So I did my associate's degree is for social work, and I went to BMCC. I don't know if you guys know. BMCC is the Borough of Manhattan Community College in New York. So I went to BMCC, and there was something about it that I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. So like a semester prior to me finishing, I had, a lot of financial issues, and just a lot of things got in the way. And those financial issues and those struggles that I was going through was just another way of my soul telling me, like, you chose this. This is not the path that you need to be at. This is not the path that you are meant to be. You're not meant to be a social worker. And so a semester before I was done with college, I left due to financial issues. I couldn't finish. I then went back and did criminal justice because I was already working in a law firm. I'm not trying to repeat my story again on camera. What I'm trying to get at is that the struggles that I was going through from the age of 18 to let's see, 21 or 22 or somewhere around that time. I was no older than the age of 23. It was just showing me, like, you have to go through all these struggles so that you can have a voice in society, so that you can lead by example. And there is no greater prophet, there is no greater God, there is no greater goddess that doesn't have baggage and mistakes in their closet somewhere or on their back that they can, use to show people or to show society what they can and cannot do and how to fulfill the purpose. And what I mean what they can and cannot do is because sometimes once you understand that you are a god or a goddess, you understand that there's certain things that you cannot do outside of your frequency. Like for example, somebody such as myself that is forever practicing the art of unconditional love cannot just sit there and um, turn around and tell somebody, you know what, I'm gonna just do everything for you. I'm, you know, everything's gonna be put on the table for you. I'm gonna give you everything, and that's the way of me showing you unconditional love. No, that is not love. Doing things for other people all the time and handing them everything all the time is not unconditional love. Unconditional love is when you allow that person to learn via their own mistakes as you're guiding them with your maybe tools, your divination tools, with love or via an example. If you lead by example, then they would follow you and therefore somewhere along the line become their own god or goddess. That is having unconditional love. If I were to get out of that, then I would be getting out of my frequency. So that's what I mean when there's certain things that you can and cannot do. Like somebody that is summoning demons, they can't show, undying unconditional love for someone or something without stabbing that person in the back because they want your souls. That's how, I'm getting crazy messages, but that's how demons work. They promise you everything. They show you, esoterics, beliefs, and they show you how to make magic, how to do this, how to do that, and then, oh, you know what? All of a sudden, it's like, oh, look at this sign right here. Sign at the dotted line. Sign your soul right here. That's how they work. That is not unconditional love, because unconditional love is truly the art of giving without expecting anything in return, because you already know. By the time you know how to give unconditional love to somebody, you know that the universe will eventually give it back to you. It's that art of karma. Or you can give it back to yourself. Like, you know what? I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna give this, and somewhere along the line, I'm gonna manipulate the laws of attraction, and it'll come back to me because you know this. You're conscious of that, so you don't have to expect it right away. You don't have to sit there like a dog or like a little puppy expecting things in return immediately. No. So the universal laws of attraction, they come back to you. So, finding your purpose will, number one, I know I've been rambling and hopefully you guys are not like, okay, so get to the point here. So finding your purpose will, number one, allow you to not be used and abused by other people, unless that's the way you learn, because I truly honestly believe that there's some people out there that they learn like we say in Spanish, a cantazo. You have to like smack them upside their head multiple times for them to be able to learn, like, yes, this is not the way you do it. This is the way you do it. There's some people that learn that way. And you know what frequency you're in. You know to not allow other people to use and abuse you, especially your energy. You appreciate and know the mistakes that you're making are for, or not the mistakes, or the experiences that you're experiencing that are possibly not that positive in your point of view at that very moment in time. It's just for your higher good. And then this way, you know your boundaries in relationships. Once you know your purpose, you know your boundaries in relationships. You have greater relationships with other people and yourself. You'll be more grounded most of the time. Not to say that you will be absolutely perfect and everything's going to go out perfect, because it's not. This world is not made for you to win. But at least you will be in control. People that know their purpose know to be in control. They are self-efficient, they're independent, they know what they're going. And if somebody comes up to you, especially in the spiritual aspect, and they try to convince you to try to to convert to their perspective or their religion or their way of practicing witchcraft and so on and so forth, to put your foot down, like, excuse me, no, because I know my purpose. This is where I'm going. Or excuse me, no, I know how to work with my gods and my goddess and my goddesses, or my god and my goddess. I know how to work with my own energy. No, that's the way I like to do things. This is the way I have to do things, because you know your purpose. You know where you're going. And that allows you to have gratitude for your surroundings and for your environment. You finding out your purpose is the single most important aspect of this experience we call life. Because once you find out your purpose, everything else falls into place. Your family, your prosperity, your health, your career. You find out your purpose, and that will define your next step in life. And it is up to you to on which platform to take, what platform to be on, what frequency to be on. Are you going to be vibrating with the Orishas? Are you going to be vibrating with Egyptian goddess Aset or Isis? Excuse me. Are you going to be Luciferian? Are you going to be a Christian pagan? Are you going to be a Christian Muslim? Are you going to be practicing Buddhism, Islam? Where are you going to be? That is, finding your purpose defines where you are going to be, where you are going. Please note that if you're going through issues or struggles about finding your purpose in life, the best way to find your purpose in life, in my opinion, is to be aware of your circumstances and surroundings. And somewhere along that awareness, that obvious purpose will be there facing you, right in your face. So once you are aware of the environment around you, not just your reality, once you're aware that there's other realities out there and that people have other realities, you will be more comfortable in accepting and knowing, number one, and accepting your purpose. Your spiritual life will be completely different, because then you'll know like how to tune into your spirituality, how to tune into your higher self. Like, you know what? I need to have a conversation with myself today. You'll know to do that. You'll know to let go of depression, let go of your attachments to suffering. I don't know why people are so attached to suffering. No. No. No, 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 no. If you're watching this video and you're watching my channel, you're subscribed to my channel, please detach yourself from all suffering. If you've been watching my videos, you know I always say you can suffer for 2.5 seconds of your life, and then you get up and do something about that. Reverse that energy. Use that energy to manifest what you want. If somebody broke your heart and you know that your purpose is in that relationship, your purpose wasn't to stay there for 5 years, 10 years, 10 years. Your purpose was to just be there for a month, show that person, how to be happy. And let's say that person wasn't ready for that. Don't just stay there. What are you going to do? If you know your purpose, you will know, like, you know what, this is not the frequency that I need to be in. I need to value myself a little bit more, because I'm not a game. This isn't a joke. My heart isn't a joke. And then what happens? The next relationship you have, you know not to waste your time. You know to say, you know what, if you're not ready, then you most certainly will not be using my energy to satisfy your inability to know better. That's how you harness energy. If you know your purpose, and let's say you're only 15, and you're already manifesting, and you know your purpose in life, and let's say your purpose is to be a pastor or a priest, you know that you have to start researching and ways of, how do I manifest this lifestyle for myself? You know how to negotiate contracts with people better. Like, if you know at the age of 15, at such a small age, that you're going to be a pastor or priest in your church, and let's say you belong to a Pentecostal Christian church, and you know what, this is what I want to be, this is where I want to go, then you know how to start planning your future. You speak to your future self, and you start seeing yourself. That's the power of knowing your purpose. Now, if you want to go a little bit deeper, This card, like I said, has been coming up like for all the dailies. I swear to you, every other day it was this card, or also in my weeklies. This signifies to me the Akashic records. Your Akashic records holds um, your history, the history of your consciousness. So where you were in your past lives, um, and where you are today, and where you're going tomorrow. I mean, the whole purpose of you having this DNA and the God particle within you, because if you're coming from a source, that means you have the energy of that source because you're coming from it. Or if you're coming from a goddess, if you perceive God to be a goddess, or if you perceive him to be androgynous, like a god and a goddess, that energy, or if you're like me and you're God is everywhere. God is that energy in the ethers that people manifest with all the time, and it's in this galaxy, is in the next galaxy, and I'm sure it's in the universe that lays right next to ours, because I strongly believe that if you know what's in your DNA and you tap into your DNA, into your Akashic records, there's many books explain in depth the Akashic records, but it's basically your DNA. It's basically a history of who you are. It's the response to that dawning question that all human beings have when they're, aware of that question. Who am I? Where did we come from? The answer is in your DNA. It's in your Akashic records. And it will never lie to you. It will never, ever lie to you, because it's a blueprint of who you are and where you came from. And so if you know who you are and where you came from, you most definitely be easier for you to know where you're going. And this is what it signifies to me, is us, the human race, depicted as a man, here, tapping and touching our Akashic records and DNA. So, and then this to me would signify the flow of energy and our aura right up here. So it is imperative that anything that you do, any next step that you do, it should be intertwined with you wanting to get to know your purpose in life. And I found my purpose in life via the quote unquote mistakes that I made. And I found my purpose in life when I was in my most low. And now I know to take all of that, harness that energy, and move on forward. That's how I found my purpose. Because I know that's a daunting question to a lot of people. Oh, okay, so you know what, Madeline? So where do I start? Well, you started looking and analyzing where you came from and how you got to where you are today. Once you analyze that, then you can move into the future and tap into your DNA. Another way that I've done it is by meditation. I've also gotten readings by other people, because that's the whole point of us readers and being here, or angels of different frequencies. Our whole purpose is to be of assistance and guidance to the human race. So if you don't want to tap into your past because it's just too painful, it's just too difficult, then it'll take too long for you to tap into your Akashic records, because it does take a long time, especially if you're down at the dumps, quote unquote down at the dumps, and you're feeling absolutely horrible about yourself. It's sometimes easier said than done to raise your vibrations. So tap into your Akashic records and use readers. Make sure that the readers that you go to are already in a positive vibration. Make sure that you don't go to people who have already a history of other people going to them and getting used and abused for their, number one, their energy and their monetary needs, because that's what happened to me. Go to somebody that you don't know or haven't heard of, like there's some people that that go to like very famous psychics and everybody knows them, and I will have this wonderful experience sometimes. And I'm not saying, okay, you can do that if you feel comfortable, if you have the money or the resources to do so, but go to someone that's humble, that has, that you can tell and you can feel that that person has a level of compassion balanced with I don't even know the word to use. It's like a level of compassion and also tough love, because sometimes people need to know exactly where they're standing, and you need to let them know, like, I'm talking to you right now. You need to let people know, like, you're right here and you need to be here, and this is what you have to do. To have somebody that has the balance of love and compassion plus tough love, because that is unconditional love. They will guide you, and it is better for you. It's better for somebody not to feed you, feed your ego or feed the fluff that people like to present love to be. And it's not. Love is also tough. It is tough. It's very high frequency, but it is tough. Other people like to, change their diet, and that automatically changes their frequency. They change the environment around them, including individuals around them, and that also changes their frequency, which will get them closer to their purpose. But since this is my video and this is what I went through, I mainly found my purpose through negative experiences and other people using my energy and hexing me. Those experiences made me wake up to my purpose. Like, yes, you're going to help people. Yes, people will hear you out. And also via my dreams, my ancestors, love my ancestors. Be always, it is imperative that you have a connection with your ancestors, because having a connection with your ancestors will let you know exactly where you came from. That alone is an array of information of your DNA, knowing where your ancestors came from. Ask your family members, where did we come from? How did we get to the US? How did we get to Britain? How did we get to Hong Kong, Japan? Like, how did our family get here? What is our family history? And if you can't do that, you can invest a couple of dollars in going to I think it's a gerontologist, they call it, or genealogist, something like that, and you can go get tested with your DNA, and your DNA will speak to you. That is another way of doing it. Other people, are vegan. Other people just change their environment. So different types of ways. Just choose the way that is best fit for you. Whatever you feel comfortable in changing your frequency, then you go ahead and do that. But it is in the most absolute important, is it is imperative for you to tap into your DNA, whichever way you do it, and find your purpose. Because if you find your purpose, less people can fuck with your frequency, because it is your frequency for the keeping, because you are a god, you are a goddess. You guys are creators of the next generation to come, of the next set of consciousness to be here in this universe, and the universe next to that, and the universe next to that. We are responsible. Okay, so I'm going to leave this video right here because it's already 33 minutes and a couple of seconds long. And if you guys have any questions, please do not hesitate to email me. You guys can email me, find me at any of my links below, or you can comment on the videos. If you have any questions, I will make video responses for you guys. So that is my video on finding your purpose and the reason why it is imperative to find your purpose. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, wherever you are in this world. And namaste to all of you, and I love you all very much. Bye.